Hey guys, it's Telman Knudsen with Hypnosis.com, and I wanted to give a big shout out to everybody who took the hypnosis survey we put out last week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your feedback has been greatly appreciated, and that's exactly why I've made this video here for you today. So if you haven't taken the survey for some reason after this video is done, please by all means, there's a link down on the blog page below where you can go and give us your 2 cents about what you want more of from hypnosis.com. We greatly value your feedback, and we'll be making lots of videos and articles and everything else for you guys based on the feedback that you give us. However, one of the biggest topics that you asked for was information on self-hypnosis. You also asked about the difference between self-hypnosis and regular hypnosis. There were also questions about live hypnosis versus recorded hypnosis. And really it all comes back down to the same thing, which is self-hypnosis versus regular hypnosis. How does self-hypnosis work? And in hypnosis, we have a saying, and the saying is, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And I'd like to explain to you the primary components of an effective hypnosis or self-hypnosis session and answer a few common questions just about this topic so that you can really understand how hypnosis works and how self-hypnosis works and how you can use it to really improve your life, right? So first of all, one of the biggest things that you should be completely aware of and that you should know about is that hypnosis is 100% voluntary. No one can force you to go into hypnosis, right? And one of the big questions that comes up all the time around this topic has to do with stage hypnosis, because most people have seen a old movie with a crazed hypnotist, or they've seen a stage show where people are doing bizarre, crazy, and unusual things up on stage, and that's the association that most people who are uninitiated have with hypnosis. Well, I'm here to tell you a few aspects about how hypnosis works in relationship to that. So first of all, I just actually finished writing a book called All Hypnosis is Self-Hypnosis that I'll be telling you about probably in the next few weeks, that goes into this whole concept in detail. But while you're waiting for that to come out, here are some things that you should know. First of all, I'd like you to imagine that a stage hypnotist is coming into your local city or town. Maybe it's coming into your local college. Maybe you're a student. Maybe you're not. But you see posters up around town. Maybe you see an ad in the newspaper. You hear something on the radio. There's a stage hypnotist coming into town. And you say, wow, that sounds really interesting. I want to go check it out. Well, there are a few types of people that generally go to a stage hypnosis show. The first type of person that goes to a stage hypnosis show is genuinely curious about stage hypnosis and maybe is going for entertainment. And they say to themselves, wow, I'm going to volunteer to go up on stage and be hypnotized. This is going to be really cool. They know it's going to be a comedy show. They know that the hypnotist is going to have people do funny things up on stage. And they say to themselves, yeah, I'm going to volunteer to go up on stage and see what this whole hypnosis thing is like. The next type of person that frequently goes to a stage hypnosis show is the type of person that is dragged along with person number one. So this is a friend, a romantic partner, or just a buddy, maybe a coworker who goes along. They're kind of interested in hypnosis, but they're not nearly as excited as you are, and they may or may not be willing to go up on stage. Frequently, they're not. There's no possible way they'd ever volunteer to do something like that, but they're going to support you. They thought that it could be a cool night out and something interesting to do. Then the next type of person is the type of person that adamantly wants to prove to the world that they cannot be hypnotized, that hypnosis is completely bogus. They're going to volunteer to go up on stage in order to show the world that they can't be hypnotized and that the hypnosis is full of crap. And then the last type of person is just going purely for entertainment. They have no intention of volunteering. They're not going to raise their hand. They're just going to watch everybody else do silly things up on stage and enjoy a night out. Well, I'd like you to imagine in the car on your way to the event, maybe with some friends, some family members, some colleagues, some coworkers, and everybody's talking about whether or not they're going to volunteer for the show and so on and so forth. People are really looking forward to the event, thinking about what funny things the hypnotist is going to have people do up on stage, whether they're going to have someone cluck like a chicken, whether they're going to have people singing and dancing like Elvis, or whether it's a R-rated hypnosis show and they're going to have them doing slightly more sketchy, sexually oriented things up on stage. Again, I've never seen a hypnosis show where there was actual anything that was sexually explicit, but I've heard that they do exist. So regardless of the nature of the hypnosis show, most of them are just comedy shows. They're very subtle, they're very calm. It's just joking around, doing silly things up on stage. And so everybody's on their way into the show, and you sit down, you take your seats in the auditorium, and the curtains part, and the hypnotist comes out, and the hypnotist immediately, after a little pre-talk, asks for volunteers, asks for maybe 15 to 20 volunteers to come up on stage. And the hypnotist goes around and looks for enthusiasm. The hypnotist is looking for someone who is sober, but who also definitely wants to get up on stage and be hypnotized and isn't doing it out of obligation. And if you've ever seen a live hypnosis show, then you've seen that the hypnotist brings everybody up on stage and slowly, one at a time, ends up asking usually about 20-25% of the participants over the course of the show to go sit back down. And the reason for that is because they were completely and totally resistant. They were either too nervous, maybe they really didn't want to be hypnotized, maybe a friend dragged them up there, maybe they have a religious or personal belief that was preventing them from being hypnotized, maybe they drank too much coffee before they came in. And what ends up happening is anybody that resists going into hypnosis, either consciously or subconsciously, is asked to go and sit back down because they're a horrible hypnosis subject at that point in time. You see, everyone can go into hypnosis, and everyone can resist going into hypnosis. But not everyone can go into hypnosis with every hypnotist, because not every hypnotist and every client are going to connect. Whether it's in an entertainment stage show or whether it's in clinical hypnosis, you have to truly trust and connect and believe in whoever it is that's hypnotizing you. Otherwise, you're never going to relax enough to go into the state, to go into the meditative, relaxing, calm, and comfortable state that we call hypnosis, between being awake and between being asleep. So hopefully that makes sense. So during hypnosis, and what we're going to talk about is self-hypnosis specifically, there are several primary components to a successful hypnosis session. The first one is your intention. You need to set your intention and figure out exactly what it is you want to change about your life with hypnosis. Hypnosis installs new habits into your mind and your life so that you can start acting and behaving in a new way very, very, very quickly. Most habits take 30, sometimes 90 days of practice in order for them to become a habit and for them to become subconscious, so you're not constantly just using willpower in order to create them. Well, hypnosis cuts down the learning curve. So step one, you have to set the exact intention on the habit you want to form. Okay, this is a positive habit that you want to create, even if it's a positive habit that you're creating that's overriding a bad, no longer useful habit. The second thing after the intention is you need to do the induction. And there's the Elman induction with the open your eyes, close your eyes, open your eyes, close your eyes, open your eyes, close your eyes, relax, right? The most common type of induction is the progressive relaxation induction, where you slowly relax every muscle in your body from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. That's a very important piece. So first, we have the intention. Second, we have the induction. Third, we want to be able to set aside any distracting thoughts or distractions from the outside. And that's what we call the treasure chest, where you simply place any of your distractions, thoughts, anything that's not helpful to you during the session mentally into the treasure chest. So after you go through the treasure chest and you set aside any distractions, then you want to do a deepener. And during the deepening exercise, the staircase deepener is one of the most common ones, where you imagine going down a staircase, and with every step on the staircase you go 10 to 100 times deeper than you were before. So that's the deepening part of the hypnosis session. After the deepener, I personally highly recommend that people use what we call the zip file for self-hypnosis. So in the case of the zip file, you've actually written down a series of suggestions that you want to give yourself on a piece of paper before the hypnosis session starts. You usually do this immediately after setting the intention for the session. You write down the specific suggestions you want to give yourself. And of course, you're going to remember some of them, and you're not going to remember others when you're in hypnosis. But during this process, once you're at the bottom of the staircase in a completely relaxed, calm, and comfortable state, then you imagine uploading that zip file of suggestions, the suggestions that you wrote down on that piece of paper, directly into your mind. Doesn't matter whether you remember them all consciously or not. The ones you remember consciously, you can just repeat mentally or out loud into your mind in order to help set them into your mind and really deep into your subconscious. After you do the zip file technique, then you want to do what's called the callback. And you simply imagine counting back up from 10 to 1 until you get back to the top of that staircase, bringing yourself back into the room, opening the eyes, and bam, you're back from hypnosis. So that's kind of the anatomy of a basic hypnosis session. You can add a lot of pieces to it. You can change a lot of pieces around. You don't have to do it in that sequence. And it's possible for experienced hypnotists to even take certain components of that out of the process entirely. For example, not all hypnotists use deepeners with every client. And if you're into NLP even sometimes will cut out the induction process altogether. They might cut out the zip file and replace it with direct suggestion or an NLP process in order to achieve the desired result. So there's no one way to do hypnosis. There's no one way to do self-hypnosis, but that's a quick process that you can imagine mentally walking yourself through in order to quit smoking, mentally walking yourself through in order to increase your motivation to exercise, mentally walking yourself through in order to improve your memory, in order to enhance your reading speed, or in order to increase your self-confidence and self-awareness, right? So that's the basic process. I hope you enjoyed it, but that's just the beginning. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Of course, there's how do you craft suggestions. There's direct suggestions versus indirect suggestions. There's Ericksonian hypnosis. There's the plethora of different inductions you can use, the different types of ways that you can craft suggestions. There's bringing in the auditory, the visual, the kinesthetic learning processes that we learn from NLP in order to absorb suggestions more quickly and craft suggestions that are going to be more effective for you. There's the many different types of deepeners that are out there, and so on and so forth. Now, with self-hypnosis, you can either mentally just practice this process over and over again, or you can actually read a hypnosis script out loud, record yourself on audio or video, and then listen to yourself and listen to your own process as you go through. What we do is we teach you all of these things, including about the different brainwave states, the alpha states, the beta states, the theta states, the delta states, and even the gamma states, throughout the course of what we call the self-hypnosis sequence. The self-hypnosis sequence is the most comprehensive and complete hypnosis training program in the world. It's a 6-month weekly self-hypnosis program where I actually hypnotize you on a weekly basis in a video form, much like this. And as you go through it, you get hypnotized and you learn another lesson while in hypnosis that you can then turn around and use in order to perform self-hypnosis in any of the 5 key areas of improvement in your life: physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, or financially. So for those of you that are interested in learning more about self-hypnosis, I made you a whole video just about that. There's a link just below that video to where you can go and check out self-hypnosis. And there's a link below this video where you can go and take the Hypno poll for hypnosis.com. If you haven't taken it already, let us know what you want more of from hypnosis.com. So I really, truly hope that you loved and got a ton out of this quick self-hypnosis training video. Thank you so much for your feedback so far. If you love self-hypnosis, if you like these types of videos, go ahead and share them with your friends by clicking on the Facebook like button, by going ahead and clicking the retweet button, the Google Plus button to help spread the word. And of course, any questions about self-hypnosis, any comments, please leave them in the comments section below. I'm all ears and love to hear what you have to say. This is Talman Knutson with hypnosis.com. Thanks again, and we'll talk with you very, very, very soon. Bye-bye.